Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
She all pinked out today.
Yep. My Cane River Creole brand, so see what's going on.
You hear that in your ear?
Hmm?
Do you hear that in your ears?
I can hear the music.
So, means
I need some lip gloss. Yeah. No. When there's a break, I put some on. I'm gonna mess you up.
You gotta mean it.
Praise Jesus. Oh. Oh, the Lord. 6:59.
Right on time.
In.
is that festival coming up?
Uh-huh.
Okay. The dates on oh yeah, March.
Yeah, I'm gonna premiere my documentary.
Okay. I'm doing your shooting. You're doing your film.
It's already done.
Oh,
It's an hour long. I'm gonna premiere it.
Okay.
Are pests trying to take over your home?
It's wrong.
And now, you're
Yeah, I'm getting
listening
ready
to
to go.
Talk Back Natchitoches with Pastor Steve Harris.
Good morning and welcome to Talk Back Natchitoches. Yours truly, Pastor Stephen Harris and 95.9 The Bounce. Listen, we're going to do what we've always done, and that is to begin with a word of prayer. Lord God, how we thank you and praise, glorify, magnify, and lift you up. For this is the day that you've made, and we're going to rejoice and be exceedingly glad in it. Well, gracious Father, I thank you for allowing us to be a part of this day that we've never seen before. And so we pray that this segment will be informative. Lord, it will be inspiring and impactful. We ask all of these blessings in the mighty and matchless name of Jesus, we do pray. Amen,
Amen.
and amen. Listen, I first want to say a happy birthday to my father, who's now on the other side. And so death does not stop life. It is just a doorway into eternity. So happy birthday, Pop. But today, we are honored to welcome Miss Kelly Jackson, a songwriter, film maker, a visionary cultural leader, right? Here in Natchitoches, Louisiana. She is the founder of the Cane River Film Festival and the driving force behind the nonprofit Resurrection Fern Foundation, which promotes historical preservations and community events connected to the rich and unique Cane River culture heritage. And then you are a 7th generation descendant, huh?
Yes.
From Miss Marie
Therese Carcon
and
Claude Thomas Pierre Matuire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you got some roots up in you.
I know.
Well, listen. Welcome to the segment Talk Back Natchitoches. Tell our listeners who are here and joining us today, what started you on your journey? Because I can remember our first interview, and you still going. What first stirred your passion for storytelling and creative expressions?
Well, first of all, giving honor to Christ our Lord, and thankful to be here today.
Yes.
Thank you, Pastor Stephen Harris, for interviewing me this morning, and Latoya for having me on. This is my favorite station, 95.9, The Bounce.
Come on.
I listen to it every day now.
Bounce with it.
I'm feeling it. And just thank you for the opportunity to be seen and heard this morning.
Yeah.
I came here from California. I'm born and raised in California, not knowing any of my Creole roots, not knowing anything about Louisiana, let alone Natchitoches. And it was about 2010 when Facebook came on the scene, and I started seeing all these Matoyer names, and that was my grandmother's father's name. And I didn't know much about it, but there were so many of them that it kind of captured my attention. So I went to somebody's particular page and then I pushed the photo album.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the Melrose Plantation and the St. Augustine Catholic Church pictures showed up. And I was like, what is that about? So I Googled the information, and that's when my life changed. And I started realizing that I have this full history in Louisiana that no one had ever told me about. And it just was so inspiring, not just about Claude Thomas Pierre Matoyer coming from La Rochelle, France to the New World, New France, as an early settler, like in the 18th century type. But Marie Therese really pulled my spirit to have this woman empowerment story from a woman from slavery to freedom to wealth, and being able to go back with that wealth and free her children from slavery. And they all became very wealthy people, owning of lands, plantation homes, importing and exporting from Natchitoches to New Orleans to France. So it was just like, wow. And at that point, I thought sometimes if I had my own struggles in life, she became an anchor for me, because how could I feel some kind of way about the little things that I was going through compared to what she went through, and she was able to come out and over those circumstances. So
Yes,
she became my anchor to help me get through and navigate in life. And at that point, I was like, I was acting for over 30 years, and with TV and commercials and movies. And I had just started making my own films with my friends, and that was the hat that I knew I belonged in, as being a director and producer. So I was like this moment came and said, I have to go to this Natchitoches place and make a film about her, a documentary, and one or the other, and eventually become a series, because it just entangled me.
Right.
And then I came out here for a weekend, and I called the Melrose Plantation, and Betty Matoyer Rock, she was Betty Matoyer at the time. She works at the gift shop for the longest, and she answered the phone, and I told her my spiel, like, I want to come here and make a movie, but I want to be respectful. So who do I talk to about it? And she goes, well, I happen to be a Matoyer. And I said, well, Cousin Betty handled it, stop playing.
Yeah.
And so she started sending me books and videos and things from the bookstore. And eventually me and my brother, we went to college together, so he's like my play brother.
Mm-hmm.
We went to broadcasting, so we'd always been a team of filming. He'd carry the equipment, and I'd make all the arrangements. So Robert came out here with me for the weekend, and Betty and now my Uncle Charles, they put us up for that weekend, and she introduced us to the people at the St. Augustine Catholic Church and took us on to Front Street to dinner. And I was like, fell in love with this little eclectic place, and and I came back again and again to do research and development. And then I just never left. I fell in love with the town.
It's captivating. It's motivating. It arrests us. Miss Freeman came back. Sometime I wonder how I made it back here, but it is what it is. You talk about the fact that you're seventh generation of this extraordinary woman whose story has to be told, and has to be told in a very intimate way. What does it mean to you personally to carry that legacy, and how does it influence your work today?
Well, almost going to make tears come out of my eyes, because it's been it's been such a journey, you know, to not only leave California and everything behind with my family, my friends, everything I owned, my job of 30 years, like that's what I knew, that's what I thought that I was becoming, you know. But this story, this woman, that spirit to tell her story pulled me so much that I left everything behind and walked away from it all and just packed up my car. You could have never told me in 1,000 years I'd do something like that and pack up my little car, and that's all that fit, and that's all I had, you know. Didn't have a job, but Betty and Uncle Charles was my anchor, and, you know, I'd like to just say a moment, prayer for my uncle. He's ill right now, and we just send blessings to him. But I'm so thankful that when I do the next film festival, the Cane River Film Festival, it's in March 21, 2026. It's my 9th annual, and I'll be able to premiere my documentary. I finally finished it. I executive produced it along with on a reimbursable grant with the Lieutenant Governor Billy Nussinger, Louisiana Cultural Development. And so
just talk with him.
He's wonderful. He's been my
great guy.
Top sponsor. He came to my first and my second event with the Cane River Film Festival. He's my top sponsor now as my exclusive stage naming sponsor and lot Louisiana Office of Tourism. So I'm so grateful to them. So they gave me that opportunity. I had to put the money up front, but thank God with that grant I was able to recur some of it back. And so I now have, you know, Resurrection Fern, The Life and Times of Marie Therese Concon, and that'll be premiering once again at the Parkway Cinema 6, March 21st, 2026, and then we'll follow up with our VIP party at the new Patio Cantina and Grill off of Front Street in that circle. So I just want to always, when I have my parties, for an opportunity for people to get together, give, you know, new businesses an opportunity to have, you know, filmmakers come there and corporation representatives in our community. So I'd like to give them that business. But I'm so proud to be able to show her story. It took a long time to research and develop at the Genealogy Library, which has a great resource, our clerk of court with David Stamey, and the Cammie Henry Library, Mary Lynn. She's passed on now, but she was a very close friend of mine and a great historian and librarian. And so with all those forces behind me to help me understand the story, to actually get the right documentation, because it was about telling her story, but telling it accurately.
Right.
You know?
Because sometimes the accuracy of the story gets caught up in the emotions, and it doesn't, you know, and you've been crying that.
For I've been since 2000. I started coming here in 2010 and moved here in 2012 and started having my first event 2014 consecutively all the way till now, when Lee Posey, which was the mayor at the time, gave me a proclamation proclaiming Marie Therese Coin Day, and State Representative Kenny Cox at the time gave me a resolution for her. So I said, why don't I just make her, you know, her day become an event? And so I did 5 years of the Marie Therese Coin Day, and my mentor who just passed away, love him so much, Joe Fuller, which councilman at large of Alexandria. He's like, well, what else? He was my great mentor and cheerleader. He's like, what else did you want to do? And I said, well, I always wanted to do a film festival. He said, well, go on up after that. So he always kept me encouraged and, you know, giving me knowledge and people to connect with. So it was
a good connections.
Yeah, and it took a village around me to help guide me, not only through the library, but through connections and, you know, talking to people at church, becoming friends with a lot of people. And so they trusted me with their stories. And some people hadn't, you know, told anybody else that without the family around. You know, they didn't put it in a book or a writing. And so some of them didn't want anybody to trust what I know, you know. And so like Ma Bell, you know, Isabel Arsenault, I was able to, in this documentary, go to people's homes. You know, she's passed on, Tifre Monet. was the last person to speak the French Creole. And, Mary Lynn let me in the library, showed us all around. And, unfortunately, all those three people are gone, but I was able to preserve not only the essence of who they are, but their memories, but their knowledge at the same time to pass down to generations. And that's when I realized the documentary was more than I thought it was going to
Yes.
be. It wasn't just now about Marie-Therese Coin
Yeah.
and her story, but it was about the gatekeepers
Right.
that knew the knowledge of her story. And I was able to capture all of that. There's Elvin Shields in there, David Stamey, clerk of court. We went to the Fort St. John Baptiste. So I was going around to show you the story. Went to the Melrose Plantation, the St. Augustine Catholic Church, Clyde Rock. There's so many people. Betty McTwire Rock is in it, and she starts off in her costume doing the monologue she's so well known for.
Mhm.
And it just turned out to be such a beautiful thing to talk to all these wonderful people, and I'm in it myself, but I didn't want to be the cornerstone of the whole documentary and just use photographs. But we were able to work with one of my winners of my film festival, David, and Rod White in Texas. He was editor, and then we had Jeff Chambers was our final editor. So I pulled this team together by the platform that I was able to create in order to have a director and an editor, and we all just came together as one to because I don't have all the skills,
Right.
but I use the skills that I do have, and we all put this documentary together, and I'm very meticulous, so I'm like, no, take that song out or put this in there, calling the shots and literally
Right.
like on 1.2 seconds and like put that in there and then take that out. So you have to get real strong.
And you know what you want.
Yeah, and you have to be
Yeah.
real strong because,
Yeah.
you're dealing with men and, they're like, I don't know. I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. I might not know how to push all the buttons,
Right.
but I'm the boss on this one. So you're going to have to do what I need you to do.
Right.
And so that becomes
tell it-
clashing.
Tell it the way I feel it.
Yeah, because
And
it's my passion. It's
Yeah.
it's not necessarily yours,
Mhm.
but I need this story to be told the way I envision it for her.
Right.
And that's what it was. And so when I look at it now, and it's on my YouTube channel for Cane River Film Festival, for those that want to find the link, it turned out beautifully.
It's already shot.
Yeah, it's an
It
hour
will-
long.
It will be debuted when? Again?
On March 21st, 2026 at the Cane River Film Festival. We'll be at Parkway Cinema 6 from 11 to 4.
Okay.
And so we show the films first. I choose like 4 films. One is the grand prize winner, which our Natchitoches Historic District Development Commission is so graceful to give us the $1,500 grand prize as an initiative to the winner. And then the other 4s are just a part of it. They get their ceremony, and we have award ceremony, director's question and answers, which will be with Sherry LeBay is my moderator, and she's also my vice president of the Resurrection Firm Foundation. So the guests that we'll have this year will be Milton Arsenault, who's in Lafayette, and they do reframing. Let me make sure I say it right. Reframing Cinema Film Festival, and he just started last year. Fantastic film festival. We have Taylor Lamel, and she's a Cane River Creole. She's from here, and her people are from here, but she's actually in Netherlands, Amsterdam. So she's flying in with Not Nowhere. It's a filmmakers cooperative where they 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter production. So they're teaching people how to use the equipment, technology. So I'm so happy she's coming. We met, and she's a kinfolk. We got along really well. And Derek Namako with Epic Wares coming from Ghana, Africa,
Wow.
who's on my board, and Robert Chevalier with Vus de Culture, who's also with Reframing Film Festival Cinema, and Chris Lyon with Louisiana Film Prize. So got a great lineup of our guest speakers.
Well, listen, again, we're in the studio live with Miss Kelly Jackson. She is a part of and the founder of Cane River Film Festival. And we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Listen, folks don't really understand the grind
Don't let ants, roaches,
as it
spiders,
take.
or any unwanted intruders make themselves
They
comfortable.
look at
Call the
a
local
Tyler
experts
Perry
at
or they
Terminator
look
Pest
at
Management.
a
We deliver
Oprah
fast,
Winfrey and don't even understand
Yeah.
their grind. You
After the
understand?
fact, that's after they got there.
I remember I was long gone from New Orleans, and Tyler Perry was on the street corner,
Sure was.
you know, looking
Got 30
for
seconds.
material for his films or his theater stuff, you know. And, but you know, you don't just get that. It's a grind. If somebody sees it, picks it up, and run with it, because Tyler Perry was doing theater.
Yeah, he was homeless for a little while, living in his car.
And we are back again. We were talking about the grind, and you know, you got to be passionate about filmmaking, writing songs, getting the message out. It's a calling, for as that's concerned. You know, you know what you want. You believe in what's in you, and you're telling it to others, and others are like, okay, and then you finally find somebody who says, I know what you mean, because I've been there. I got that burning too.
Right.
But it's almost like military, I guess. Nobody really understands a person who's been in the war except other people.
Right,
You
right.
know? And so you connect with a whole lot of folks who's either in the industry or been a part of the industry or want to be a part of the industry. And so this film festival, you talk about teaching people how the industry basically works.
Right. A lot of the times with the festival, and I mean, this is my 9th one, and I tell you, the first one, I started off big, you know. It was 2 days. I took over the event center, the Sports Hall of Fame, the Riverbank,
Right.
and had bands on the stage, rides, vendor trucks. The 9, I did it all. We had movie night under Star with the library, showed Steel Magnolias. I mean, I bit off a lot. And my friends were like, well, is this a music film festival? Like, what is it? Like, what really is your vision for this? You know, not that it didn't go well. It just was a lot and it needed to be focused. So I found myself each year fine-tuning it. And sometimes, you know, it's difficult when you're having 2 days, and I was in 4 different locations, and you're packing a box, going off to the next place, packing a box, going to the next one, set it up. Some people didn't show up, you know, or they're late, they're this and that, and I'm like, oh Lord, because I'm a perfectionist because it has to be perfect. When you have wonderful sponsors that give you funding to do this, it can't go off wrong. You know, it can't look just any old kind of way. It has to be polished, and you have a year in advance to get this straight. So there was no excuses for me. I took every hit that didn't work well, and I made sure that that didn't happen the next year. And now I'm working with the university students and media.
That's what we have one of the greatest theaters. That's the reason I push, and we've fallen off, and I want y'all to hear it on the radio. We've fallen off with the fact that we had started theater in our public schools. Listen, my son now went to Howard, found out he could act and things like that. Now he's going to movies, shooting movies and things like that. Matter of fact, probably more than likely Courtney and them will come down and be a part of, you know, like yourself. You go to other festivals, right? You know.
Well, there's 2 festivals that are my guest speakers. Louisiana Film Prize. I think they give a $50,000 grand prize, and Reframing Cinema Film Festival in Lafayette. Louisiana Film Prize is in Shreveport, and the other one's in Lafayette.
Right.
But I said, hey, come on my platform because we are all a community.
Right.
And whoever's as my audience and filmmakers, they can submit to yours next year and yours next year so that we show that we're in a unity and not just separate and like we're competing.
And the
want
South
everybody to fit that way.
the South right now is a great place to get tax breaks and things
Absolutely.
like that in shooting. You got 50 Cent,
Absolutely.
who's doing a whole lot of things, even though, you know, he said some things not so long ago, but we know what this was about and things like that because sometimes it's the politics of it too.
Yeah, there's politics. Like, you know, I've got politicians that are.
Right.
The lieutenant governor is a politician. He's the lieutenant governor.
But the great thing about Lieutenant Governor Nungesser, if he can help people.
Oh, he does. He
because
shows up.
He knows what this is all about.
Yeah, I love him.
You know, this, what you're doing is connecting different filmmaking entities, small and large.
Right.
You know, and folks don't understand this. If you had all the resources right now, you'd be all over the world.
Absolutely.
But you got to get the resources.
You have to have the resources.
Yeah.
And sometimes resources isn't just, you know, financial. Like I said, with Derek, I just put him on my board of directors. He's in Ghana, Africa. And so they work on my flyers and my badges and do all my stuff like that. But he went on his own this year and we gave about 8 different awards, like literal awards. He created them and certificates and picked 8 people for cultural arts and went around his community and gave them all these awards for the Cane River Film Festival. We are establishing Cane River Film Festival /Ghana. We also have an Instagram page for it. And that's under his initiative. We're working on his visa to try and come here this year to be a guest speaker. He's also has Epic where he's a fashion designer. So he always gives me some kind of gear to wear too, you know. Yeah. But he's a wonderful person and he's adopted me as his mom now. So we have a real, and we've never met, we're only on social media, but your resources, like having Sherry in Houston based, you know, she's connected to a lot of the Creole pages that have over 30K and up. And so she's always, you know, connect to this person, you know. And so we're like, you know, like she called me this morning at 5 and she's like, don't forget to say Willie Powell's attorney at law in Houston because he's been a great support. He's got billboards up. He's a huge attorney in Texas. And our other cousin, Yakota Strong, he has strong, Strong Heritage Risk Advisors. And they've been like great. But so our support is not just locally.
Right.
You know, it's internationally now. And we get submissions from all over the world. And that's a wonderful thing. So I'm glad to see from the first one, you know, with that struggle. And I mean, like, I put all my little signs out and my car broke down. I could put one sign in front of Walmart because then my friend had to give me a ride. And he's like, well, I can just pick you up and take you to put out one sign. And I took the picture in front of it. I was like, you couldn't have told me nothing. And he took me right back home. And I had like $300 worth of signs, and I said, well, we won't be.
Think about it, I saw the sign.
Yeah. But you know, I learned to never let them see me sweat, no matter what my struggle. Like, there was a sponsor that didn't get the email, so I walked my butt, and you know how hot it is in the summer, all the way to the post office. I lived on Fish Hatchery, by the Fish Hatchery on Woodward.
Yeah.
Walked all the way to Kaiser just to mail the letter. And back, and I got it. I was like, "Ooh!" But whatever it takes, you know, even in the middle of a struggle, like doing the documentary, lots of struggles, lots of struggling communicating with your director and your editor. It's like, you're not getting it right. You have to keep pushing back.
Right.
Eventually, I had to get a different editor because there's only so much you can do, and it's like, if you're not hearing me, I already paid you. So you learn lessons. Don't pay up front.
Oh no.
Pay later on. Pay half now, half later. But I thought, we're good, so we should be able to be
We got a
good.
connection. I thought.
Yeah, and you learn, and it's heartbreaking sometimes. And so when I've talked to students, like we're working with, I just did Jam Day. I worked with the media and journalism at NSU, and Dr. Taylor and Matt Craig and all those, and Jennifer Johnson are great. They let me use their students for interns last year, and they did the red carpet right. They had their cameras out and they're interviewing people, and there's still cameras, their video cameras, and so that gives them the experience they need to use their equipment, engaging with the community and people, and then they have something to pull for their real, when they get to class and get class credit. So we have that program going on for interns through the university, which I now am a part of the staff of the Creole Heritage Center now.
Right.
So I got my staff badge now, my parking detail for my car. So I'm just happy to be working at the Creole Heritage Center with Dr. Kent Peacock and Kimberly Martin, and Auntie Martin, and Dr. Pete Gregory is old school, and he's just lovely to be in the office with us. So that's going to help me even learn that much more about my history and heritage, because we're being positioned, and that's what it really is positioning. And I asked God for this positioning.
The
I said,
networking.
it really has put me in a great position to meet other people. I'm going to be on a Zoom call next week, and the people are in France, and so I'm eager to, meet new people.
Production.
And make new networks, productions. Like she's coming from Amsterdam, you know what I mean? But somebody said, hey, you need to, meet Taylor. And so we got together, and I took her where the Marie Therese Coin house is, and we spent the whole day together, took her to Betty and Uncle Charles's house, and then so she's like, I go, well, you want to come back? If you come back, maybe you can come back in time to be a guest on the, and then the film festival. And so she made her arrangements. So she's like, I'm coming, so it's great to show that type of unity.
And I know the downtown Shreveport there, the
Robinson Film Center.
Film Center.
Yes,
A lot of great.
Wendell Riley is great, the new director. They actually showed my documentary for. He picked it up right away for Juneteenth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's
very
great.
awesome.
Yeah,
because that's where a lot of the material and thing come from, because people turn back around and they like you're saying, you got different people that you're always showing what you got going on and thing. Just one person who has all the resources and everything you need to get it done has to look at it.
well, that's what I'm waiting for.
Right. That's what happened with the Tyler Perrys.
And that's why you gotta put your money where your mouth is. I always tell the students, you gotta put it down, but you gotta put it out.
Connectivity.
You gotta put it out. That's why I'm putting it in my own film festival. It's like I built my own platform, so I can put my own documentary in it. You know,
right.
And so I utilize, and I'm singing on the end of this documentary too. So I'm using all my talents and skills.
Right.
And there's no band behind me. I'm singing a cappella.
Wow.
But it's beautiful, and I wrote half of it here, and the rest of it was in California. Talking about I'm going home to a place I've never known, on the river across the sky. I'm going home, and that's where resurrection. Learning what the resurrection fern was is the fern that grows on the trees out here, and when it's dry, it's dead. But when the water hits it, it comes right back to life. And I said, that's it, resurrection fern.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna take a break, and I want to come back and talk about the Resurrection Fern Foundation, which is your nonprofit. And we'll be right back. Soon I will be done with the trouble of this world. Trouble of this world. Troubles of this world. Soon I will be done.
All right,
with
now.
the trouble of this world. I'm going home to live with with God no more.
Opioids are a class of highly addictive
Weeping
narcotics,
and
and
wailing.
illegal substances. like
Oh my
fentanyl.
God, I tell
These
you.
drugs can dangerously slow down heart and breathing rates, potentially leading to fatal overdoses. The Louisiana Office of Public Health found that opioid-involved deaths increased by 269% from
I thought
2018 to
We'll
2020.
talk about
Somebody
that.
then?
In 2023,
Come on.
opioids were responsible for 80,000.
I go into my folk art. These are my last like things that I'm doing that I'm just
Yeah, 'cause
moving
that's-
on in other areas. Cane River Creole National Park, Historical Park. I do quarterly art classes with them, and they sell my art in their in the Oakland plantation. So I'm the only one that contracts with the national parks.
See, you never were down here when we had the amphitheater, which is out in Granico. They would do live. I'm talking about big productions out there.
No.
Something.
And then now I have my Cane River Creole brands.
All right.
I came out with my own gear, and on my Shopify, and then I do my music, KJ Cane River.
Okay.
So it's on Instagram and Facebook. This is some of my, which is God's talents, and He asks us to use them all. Don't bury your talents. And
No.
that's what I be doing. I be using all of them mamma jammers.
We got 50 seconds.
Thanks for the water.
J.W. Odom and Associates consistently educates and advocates for our clients while continually reinforcing.
I was having some issues with my car. I don't even know.
Based on trust.
I think at one point it just shut off on itself. Coming over here, when I was coming around behind the Chevron, I said, "Did this car just shut off?"
Is it the cold weather?
Engine light. Well, Mr. Mitchell's trying to help me fix it, but that was scary.
For a quote, call us now, 318-467-6282 or jwodom.insurance.com. Want to stop in for a visit?
I prayed
Office is
through it.
conveniently located at
10
119 Royal
seconds.
Street here in Natchitoches. Again, that number is 318-467-6282 or jwodom.insurance.com.
And we are back with Miss Kelly Jackson. She is the founder of the Resurrection Firm Foundation, which it promotes to the preservation of Creole and just a plethora of things that this nonprofit does. So, how does this nonprofit help you to get all of the things that's in you out?
Right, thank you. The Resurrection Firm Foundation, Inc. was established here in Louisiana in 2012. One of my kinfolk, Roger Geary's passed on. He used to do things like this and help people get their established, 501c3s and corporations. So at the time, I established both the Resurrection Firm Foundation and my Arts and Minds Productions LLC. But not knowing how to navigate all the paperwork and stuff, I pushed through and got them both at the same time and put the money on them and everything. But then, you don't realize there's annual fees and there's other stuff that's involved with your LLCs. And so there'd be a time where I didn't have the money. And so that one went on to the labs. And so I said, I can't keep up with all the paperwork on both. So let me put my hands around the Resurrection Firm Foundation and stay with this one. I'll let that one slide and come back at it another time when you have a bigger team.
Right.
And so, so as I started growing and developing the foundation, I realized, okay, the foundation today and has always produced the Cane River Film Festival. So I utilized the nonprofit in order to gain grants, gain sponsorship.
So is it 501c3?
Yes, it's a 501c3.
Wow.
It's a nonprofit. And like I said, when I named it after the Resurrection Firm, because that when I learned about that in writing with the tree, the moss that grows on the trees is the fern, and when it's dry, it looks dead. But as soon as the rains hits it, it comes back green, flush, and back to life. And I was like, that just grabbed in my spirit because that's what it is, historic preservation. It's like sometimes it's in the archives, it's gone dead, nobody's remembered the story. People's stories have gone because they've gone with them. And so it was a resurrection of who they are and their essence. And that's what I was doing with Marie Therese. And when I wrote the song, that's the name of the song, Resurrection. I'm like, it's a resurrection, you know? So everything became around the foundation. And so I was able to, again, like to get grants. And as we moved from the Marie Therese Coin Day, after getting the proclamation and resolution, after 5 years of that, I was gaining better sponsors. I was going to a lot of historic sites to have the event, and I was gaining a greater audience. And that's when Joe Fuller said, "Hey, what else you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I was planning a film festival in Los Angeles before I moved here." He's like, "Well, go do that." And I said, "Okay." I tried to do it both that year. Well, it was, February, and then in March, no. And I said, that was a lot. So I decided to just stay focused, pulled the Marie Therese Coin Day into the Cane River Film Festival, so that the film festival does have historic preservation a part of it. Bringing people from all over the world. Most of where within the United States have come here, but we get submissions from all over the world, and reaching out to our network of friends in an international way shows my sponsors that it's just not a local event, but it's an international event, as well as we're always on the calendar, the master calendar of events for Louisiana through the Lieutenant
That's
Governor's
awesome.
office.
That's great.
And through our Natchitoches Tourism, we're on their calendar, and thankful that the mayor puts us on his website. And so, like, they're now, they're my sponsors, the mayor's office and our Natchitoches Tourism. So I'm really grateful to their partnership in helping me promote the event as well. So
from when you first started up until now, what do you think the impact from the festival has been?
It's making a great impact because, like I said, now we're establishing our Cane River Film Festival in Ghana. So now I want to take this same program. We're already giving awards under the Cane River banner, but I want to do our same program over there. So Derek needs to find a theater and a place to hold our VIP party, and we're in there. So we're hoping that in 2026 we'll establish that. So to come from, driving my car here with just a little bit in it, and having a vision. And at first, when I was talking to God, I was driving in my car, and you know how you loop around by the Parkway Cinema is, and I said, "Well, what do you want me to call it, Lord?" And I said, "Natchitoches Film." He's like, "No," and I said, "Cane River Film." He's like, "Yeah." And when he said, "Yeah," I was just turning the corner right there at the Parkway, and I'm like, "I want to be in the Parkway Cinema 6," and so it was ironic at first. It wasn't happening to let me up in there, right? So I was at the School of Math, Science, and Arts. We did movie night under the stars with the library on the riverbank. They had a blow-up tent. We did a blow-up.
That was you, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
we had the blow-up again, projectors, theater deal at the park. That new park that they made over there by the police station on 2nd Street.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, we had the whole party going on over there. And so I always move it around, where I'm having my parties. We've had it at like I said, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame twice, the Country Club. We've had it at Riverbend Bed and Breakfast a couple of years ago. We've had it at the H.A. Cook Guest House. We went Mariners, and we were at, which it was Jimbo's, but it was the, Ron and them have it upstairs now. They took over, made it the venue downstairs. So it was a landing at one point, then went to Jimbo's.
Now it's the loft.
Now it's the loft, and so we've been able to move the party around. This year we had it. This year we had it at the Riverside Reserve. So I'm very particular about where I want to have my VIP party because I want to show our guests the best that Natchitoches has to offer. I don't want to just have it
they
anywhere.
Are one of the best.
Yeah, they are all the best.
As a visionary. I don't know why God shows you a vision, shows us visions, but he does not always show us the provision.
Right.
Because all we see is what's ahead of us.
Right.
And we don't see. So I said that to say to you, me, you, because I already know. He never tells us about the obstacles.
No.
Because if he told us about the obstacles
not do it.
first, we wouldn't do it.
No.
We would not do this.
But he also said,
But it's the vision that drives us.
He said, without vision, a people will perish.
Right.
That's number one. And I remember when I announced that I was going to do this Cane River Film Festival, and I went to the mayor first, and I was like, hey, mayor, I got, I'm on my next. That's what I always called it. I'm on my next. And they're like, what's your next? And I said, Cane River Film Festival. He's like, okay, well, what's good for Natchitoches is good for me. He's like, but how are you going to get the money? It's like, I'm not giving it to you. Like, how are you getting the money? And I said, well, I'm going to go get some sponsors. That's what it's getting ready to be. And I swear I would go to, like, the local business where I had a clipboard and a pen, like, sign you up. And people be like, I'm like, hi, I'm Kelly Jackson. I produced the Cane River Film Festival. Would you like to be a sponsor? And they'll be like, well, whose company is it?
And who are you?
Yeah, whose company? I said, it's my company. Oh, really? I got the really all the time. And I said, really?
Yeah.
And so eventually, some people came on, and, some people you're calling on the phone, and they'll be, like, here she is again. I said, okay, I can see what I have is you're not interested in. Let me just move on.
Right.
Check them off. Like, I'm not going to keep circling the block over and over with the runaround. So I just let them go.
So there's challenges.
It is a lot of challenges.
There is challenges that will challenge. It's to challenge you, really.
Right.
Because by the time you get to the top, can't nobody tell you nothing. Because there's a difference between theory and application.
Right.
There's a difference between what you heard and what you know.
Right. And
a lot of things.
I can find anybody.
Come on.
He knew.
Yeah.
He knew. He's like, I give you a name, and by next week you already done found him. I said, hon, because I believe in, and I'm going to give people a tip.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of anybody's site, it usually says contact us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. I will find you.
Challenge
I go all through the contact. I call. And they're like, well, that would be so-and-so. Well, thank you, Susan. Can you connect me to so-and-so? And it becomes, to me, like a game, Or you keep your eye on social media, see what's going on around town. And I roll up, you know what I mean? I'm like, when Wingstop opened up, I was over there. When Super One, which is one of my sponsors, did the grand opening just recently, I was there. Mr. Brookshire's himself, I'm taking pictures. I'm like, hi, you're my sponsor. Taking pictures with him now and shaking hands, and met a lot of different other companies, CC's Coffee, some other ones up in there. That I said, well, hi, let's get you on board. So I'm after T-Mobile right now, Wingstop, Chick-fil-A. I'm seeing stuff, and I'm like, hi, I would like you to be my sponsor. So you send them the package, but those packages, I have to make my sponsorship tier out of nowhere, but I use examples from other festivals or events.
Don't try to recreate the wheel.
Just rewrite it and put your own little spin on it. And so I designed my own logo. My cousin does graphic designs in Detroit, and so my first graphic designs for the Resurrection Firm Foundation and the Cane River Film Festival, my cousin did for me. So I really appreciated her, and that's why you look out for people, what their skill sets are, and people can do your flyers. My cousin Diane Dodd, her wife Cherie, she does graphic design, so there was a couple of years that they did my flyers and different logos. So, that's why I'm working with the guys in Africa, but I'm always working with different graphic designers, but it's a lot in communication. And it's not everybody you wind up getting along with. Sometimes you start working with people and then it's like, oh, this isn't working. So, you veer on trying to find somebody else. So you have to, like the same way with sponsors, not everybody's going to want to get down with you. So you have to just like, okay, thank you. And, I have probably burned a couple of bridges. I'm not going to lie, because I get mad, I'm like, forget you then, But I just keep it moving and like, oh, Kelly, I've learned, like, not to let them see me sweat, but don't let me get aggravated. Like, it's just a person, like my grandma said, one monkey don't stop no show. And just keep it moving, but don't allow my emotions to get involved with what I'm doing, because that person can hold a door when you're coming around the corner at another place, you know. So I've learned, and people have gotten mad at me, like, they did you like that, you should have had, you know, and I said,
Well, I just want to
No,
tell
you don't.
you and want to tell Tori and anybody that's listening that challenges helps build your platform.
yeah, and your character.
That's right. If you don't have any challenges, then you're not going to have a strong platform. Because sometimes the platform that you build, you'll have to jump, and that it better be able to hold you when you jump.
Yeah.
And come back down.
Yeah, like I said, like my car broke down. I sound like a country western song at the end of some of this because it's hot. Nobody showed up. I got it on my back, literally carrying on, and the tables. The table done fell on my leg. You're like, oh.
You can really write a song.
Yeah, it's dirty. You up in there cleaning the bathrooms. So you gotta be strong in all kinds of aspects.
Well, look, we're gonna take another break. Talk back Natchitoches with Miss Kelly Jackson, and we're gonna talk about future projects.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
Independent hometown auto. Serving the area for over 20 years.
Y'all got to begin to support businesses at the beginning level. Ask God to give you a discernment to know that everybody ain't out trying to get you. You know, we're not out trying to get you at 95.9 The Bounce. We're not trying to take nothing from you. We're trying to get something to you. There's a difference. Because if we can get this platform to you, you can use this platform to do the things that we're doing now.
Right.
You know,
2 seconds.
getting things out there. And we are back. Again, a lot of folks have this cynical mentality of thinking everybody out to get you.
Right.
You know, and so they'll never be
All
able
the
to
haters.
invest in nothing that and watch your money work for you. What folks don't understand about films and things like that, it's just like investing in stock. You invest in the front end of it, and it can pay off, or it won't pay off.
Yeah.
But it's all a part of risk taking.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't really know how the industry really worked. That these people raise all this money from different investors and things to put on now some of them already have big money and things, but they still
Need other money.
whether it's Tyler Perry's and things, there are people who invest in these movies and things, and they get paid back because they invested in it.
Or, like making my own documentary. It's not like, I think some people thought I was going to go get rich off of it or something. No.
Right.
But I did make it into a DVD as a collector's item, and so you can make a donation to the foundation of $100. So I was able to get some monies, recur some money.
Well, go ahead and talk about
And I was able to donate it to the libraries and other places, but I wanted them to have something to hold, to collect instead of a disc or a link. You can't hold that. But, again, the investors, so like at this moment, I'd like to just say to the Lieutenant Governor as my exclusive top sponsor, to Acadiana Cinemas, who owns the Parkway Cinema 6, to our host sponsor, Patio Cantina and Grill, Clico, Natchitoches Historic District Development giving the grand prize, Natchitoches Tourism, they're a great team player and a top sponsor, Cane River Charities, Howard Conde Law Offices. I just love Howard. He's been with me from the beginning, You know, when I had a dream, and he's
yeah.
like, hey, I'm always going to be down, and it's been down ever since all 9. Bank of Montgomery is my bank, but they're also my family that supports what I do with the Cane River Film Festival from the beginning. We've had Enterprise, Super One, you know, our mayor with the city of Natchitoches. And I'm just so grateful to have, and I have more, so they'll be coming in. You know, I usually do 3 flyers. I have a save the date, which starts, and then I have a middle one that tells you our guest speakers
Right.
and who's coming in. And then the final one is when I announce the winners, and we have their poster art and who they are on the final flyer. But it takes all of that to produce the event. You know, I can't produce it on my own with my own money.
Right.
But I am going, like you said, I am going into some other ventures, like you saw what my Cane River Creole brands is on my Shopify store.com.
She's all pinked out.
Yeah, Cane River Creole brands got the logo here. And it's 100% cotton unisex. So this is really a fun suit. I've got 3 colors, but on the store it's got 14 different colors. So that's kind of something I started just recently. I work with, check it out. I mean, 100% cotton. They're totally warm and comfortable. But I also work with the Cane River Creole National Parks. I have a contract with them. I do quarterly art workshops, and then they sell my artwork, my folk art by Kelly Jackson at the Oakland Plantation. And then I have my music, which is something that people don't know about me, but I love to sing, and I'm a songwriter with BMI, the association, the music association. And so we're streaming on Spotify. We have a YouTube, we have Instagram, and a Facebook, KJ Cane River. So that's something that one of my childhood friends came into my life, and we started writing. He did the music, and I wrote the songs and sang.
I was wondering who's doing the music.
Yeah, they're PVM Entertainment Group, and they're in Houston, but some of them are in Northern California. But we grew up when we were in Oakland, California, when 12 years old. And
West Coast.
Yeah, and so we got back around each other, and so we started doing the music, and we did 13 songs, so it's a whole album. But we released only 3 of them because, you know, you got to music engineer them and make them tight. Right. But I've written over 13 songs with them. And so little by little we'll have the album come out.
Hip hop, is it?
It's not like a hip hop. It's R&B and soul music, because I'm singing like really from my soul and my experiences, what I'm going through at the time, or I'm dealing with a guy, I'm talking about that, or what I used to deal with. And you know, some is just fun and dancing, and one of my favorite ones is Drama Queen. And I was writing that in Hollywood about being an actress, you know, and it's just. Some of it was just really fun, disco style. And yeah.
So different.
It's all right. Yeah, it was challenging, but we wanted to make each song completely different. So you really can't gauge what was really going on. But that's something that's been in my heart, and I've enjoyed doing. So, you know, being creative, you just create, because like I was telling you, God gives you talents, and He wants you to utilize all of them, because you never know which one is going to take you out of poverty. Take you out of your struggle.
Don't bury him.
Don't bury him. You know, and people are like, what else you doing? You know, like kind of condescending. I said, hey, I'm using all my talents that God gave me. And like I said, my song is in my documentary, you know. So when you have these talents, you can utilize them in certain other areas of what you do.
Right.
You know.
And the Bible says that your gifts will make
room for you. Absolutely. I agree.
If you don't use the gift, the room won't be made either. So, any closing reflections?
Well, if 50 Cent can hear me, maybe he can holler back. Because I sure been to holler. Because I've been trying to reach you through everybody out in Shreveport, but it's kind of not getting there yet. But he might want to get down and pick some of my music up.
Well,
they're right next door. Come on over here.
Somebody had Charleston White down, so
I know. So
I'm like, wow.
Well, I'm getting closer and closer. I'm in this circle.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time. But like I said, I'll find somebody. And your name is Jackson, and my name is Jackson. So we gotta get together.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm not sure if you have met Millennial Studios yet.
The people that used to be in it, yes, I've met them, but he's taken over that now. So people like that's close to him, like Orville Hall, Drayden Dunn, his person that sells him all the real estate too, Gerard Durden, you know, like Wendell Riley. He's real close to that mayor,
Right,
Arsenal,
right,
and
right.
you know,
Right.
Betty Sawyer Smith. We went out there twice. We went to the Robinson Film Center for the meet and greet to meet Orville Hall.
Okay.
And then we went out there another time when he was there on the government plaza steps with the mayor signing the contract. So she got me in there into the media section, and Tabitha Taylor, and she's close to the mayor's secretary, so she got me in that little area. But I still didn't get to meet him, you know. So, but I'm in that circle. I was like, you know, that's me. I'm a Bogart. I'm gonna get up in there. I'm gonna find my way to you. I'm gonna find people.
Well, again, tell us the date, and we're gonna be getting out of here in just a few moments.
Okay, it's March 21st, 2026. We'll be at Parkway Cinema 6 from 11 to 4. It's the 9th annual Cane River Film Festival. And then from 5 to 9, we'll be at the Patio Cantina and Grill for our VIP opening night celebration party. And that gives our filmmakers the opportunity to get to know each other. And this year, they got to know each other so well, they went off and made 3 different films together.
Meet and
And
greet.
so, but that's what it's for, because they can't really meet when you're watching a movie or
Right.
Q&A. They get to learn about you at that point, but they don't really get to know you. And that's why I take the time and the finances to put on this party in the best places. So they're like, oh, this is nice. And they relax and they're eating. I feed you.
Right.
Yeah, like my
right.
mama do. And then they, you know, get to know each other, and, you know, magic happens after that.
Well, listen, y'all, we got to get out of here.
that's
Talk back
wonderful.
to this 95.9 The Bounce. We got to bounce out of here, but we'll be right back tomorrow, same time, same place. Listen, guess what? I love you. And
You can't do nothing about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
tell
was
you.
smooth groove.
Let me see. What did them just?
Okay.
Yeah, the son was shoot this $1,500 grand prize. I hope they come through, because they haven't got back with me yet. It's like, man, you better stop running away from me, guy, because where's that grand prize money?
Shut like Senator Cassidy just, yeah.
That went well. Thank you, Latoya. And thank you coming
It
to
was
find me,
good.
girl.
Yeah. What'd you say about Cassidy?
He just texted me.
Oh, okay.
Gerald, and I have been speaking
I'm gonna do my whole thing. Let me know.
All right, Pastor, we going off.
Okay.